I'm hearing, you know, a very much softer, gentler version of what you proposed during the campaign. Temper some of the stuff. Like what? Like immigration? Because you yourself have sort of stepped back. So has Boris Johnson.
What have I stepped back from?
You have said that... Let me get my...
Yes, I've said that we want control back rather than numbers down.
No, you have said that maybe we're not... Yes,
and
exactly.
when did I ever say the opposite?
You have
when
said
did I ever not
the
say
numbers
that? Right, when did I ever not say that?
Listen,
I wrote a book about this.
You've been through all of this on other channels. The reason people voted, the majority of them, and I can play you what they've said,
Christiane,
is to stop immigration into this country. No, backtracking. Okay, maybe that's a U-turn.
Okay, you've accused me of backtracking. When have I ever said anything different?
You have said, and your Leave campaign, and you are the lead spokesman of the Leave campaign, that immigration and the free flow of movement was the sine qua non.
I've never, ever said that. I've written a book called Why Vote Leave, setting out what would happen.
Would you agree that the Leave campaign's main objective in terms of sovereignty was to stop the free movement?
Your idea that I've backtracked.
Okay. Are you then saying that this immigration is going to be much lighter than you all promised?
I have never, ever made any commitment on numbers, ever. On the contrary, I have said
just on facts, no free movement of
what we said is we would take back control. Now, what that means is that a foreign court should no longer get to determine who can reside in this country, who can enter this country, that should be a question for parliamentary sovereignty. We are clear about that.
So you're saying that parliamentary sovereignty could quite easily allow the same number of people to keep coming in?
That would be a decision for Parliament. That's how democracy works.
You have got to be kidding me. What? This whole thing was run on... Can I play for you?
You guys have been shouting racist so long you weren't listening to what we were actually saying.
Did I say that? You retract that right now. Did I say that?
When have I ever made immigration my issue?
Did I say that?
You have accused me of backtracking, and I want you to give me... We've always been connected to every continent and archipelago, right? The argument against the EU is that it's in decline and that we can do better raising our eyes to more opulent markets overseas.
What are people
That has been my argument throughout, on every interview, every speech, and I've written a book called Why Vote Leave, where it's all set out. You will not find any argument there.
You did back Boris Johnson, and you did back Michael Gove, right?
If I was relying on CNN as my only source of evidence, I would think that this was a nativist vote, a protectionist vote. It's the opposite. We are a global country, and we can do better than just a regional association.
Are you concerned?
That's been the argument right from the start.
About some of the post-Brexit hate crimes, the graffiti, the hurling of insults. Are you? The Prime Minister
that's our fault.
The Prime Minister started Parliament today with
an outrageous question. In every country, in every population...
I am asking you, as a politician, are you concerned about some of the fallout?
In every country, you have some racist idiots. In every society, you have some racist idiots. But for you to suggest without any connection that this is somehow connected to the campaign, that you couldn't have had, that there were no racists in Britain before, that there are no...
Daniel, that's not what I was saying. I said, are you concerned about the fallout and the hate crimes? Again, I don't believe I used the word racist.
Why assume that it's fallout?
Now, let me ask you this about Boris Johnson.
That was a why did you stop beating your wife's question?
No, it wasn't, because people have gone into shops and they have said, we voted out, now
and that never happened before. There were never any racists in this country before. There were never any incidents like this before.
Let's not be tautological here. You haven't voted out before.
What you are suggesting is outrageous. What you are suggesting is that there is a connection between people who voted for more democracy and some of these incidents.
If some of the hate crimes,
thing to say without any evidence of any connection
we have the evidence, and I've put it on the...
What evidence? You show me a link between the vote and this bad behaviour.
We will show you the graffiti on the Polish community
so there are some bad people, right?
Right, So
of course we condemn that.
57% rise in hate crimes since Brexit. 57% rise in hate crimes, according to your police. According to the police here. I'm not making it up.
What you're suggesting
is that 52%
of the country are on a spectrum that connects them to this. Well, of course.
I thought this referendum was about disassociating from the EU.
I get that you thought that.
Yeah,
you were evidently not listening to us.
So it wasn't?
Correct.
It wasn't about disassociating from the EU.
May I tell you what it was about without interruption?
Please.
Yes. It was about an internationalist global Britain, a more deregulated Britain, a freer Britain, and a more democratic Britain. One that is interested and engaged with the affairs of every continent, including Europe. I speak French, I speak Spanish, I've lived and worked all over Europe, right? I have absolutely no issue with collaborating with our immediate neighbours. You would have to be insane to be against that.
I understand that.
Right?
How do you expect to be a leader at all these tables when you're not part of the EU? Because they have
the fifth largest economy in the world, we're the fourth military power, we're one of 5 permanent seat holders on the UN Security Council. The implication here that people have just voted for closing doors, for protectionism, which has been a theme throughout, is just the opposite of what we were actually campaigning on. We were making a liberal argument for a global, engaged, international Britain, and we want to look beyond a declining, enervated Eurozone to the growing markets further afield where we have connections.